fans waiting to get their photos of their favourite players. Pretty much every seat taken for this evening's session. There is Michael White looking a little pensive. Currently ranked at 62. Of course, he got back on the tour by getting through to the World Championship, coming through qualifying a couple of seasons ago. He's 57 on the provisional end of season list, so he should be okay in terms of retaining his tour position. It's not been the best form from him since he got back on the tour, but he is an asset to the tour for sure. He's such an entertaining player to watch. Likes to get on with it, but what a task he's got on his hands today in the shape of this man. And there's going to be some roar, I think, when O'Sullivan walks into the arena. Well, he's so famous, he got 2 introductions. The referee trying to restore calm. Good luck with that. So we're ready to go for the second evening of the World Open Snooker live here in New Shan. A place in the round of 32 up for grabs. It's Ronnie O'Sullivan against Michael White. Neil Foles alongside me for this one, and a packed house, Neil, for what promises to be a great evening of snooker all round. Anywhere near his A game, but if he can win this frame, then it's a best of 3 for a place in round 3 here in New Shan. Ronnie O'Sullivan has done all the scoring, 2 centuries, but a few errors as well, just keeping White interested. Judd Trump 3-1 up, of course, on Sanderson Lam on table 2. You can watch that on Discovery+. Tianpeng Fei has taken the 3rd frame against Neil Robertson, who now leads 2-1. 2 each between Matthew Stevens and Ryan Day, as O'Sullivan this time gets in off White's break. 3-1 Chow Yu-Peng over Noppon Sankam. 3-0 Jordan Brown over Chris Wakelin, and 2-1 now to He Guozhang over the Chinese wildcard, the 16-year-old Wang Jimbo, who beat his brother in pre-qualifying, and then Matthew Selt with a century in the deciding frame from 4-3 behind to set up that crack at He, who's caught the eye in his debut season as a pro.
Foul. Michael White, 4.
I think if he was a billiards player, you'd have been pretty proud of that in-off. But we're not playing that game here, so no good to O'Sullivan, of course. But it's just that sort of line up the table, trying to get the cue ball into that corner. And Michael White has started to knock in a few long pots, which is something that he could hold hope for, but he's not been particularly lucky there. He'll have to get the rest out, this brown around the angles. It's not a nice shot played at pace. Very well struck. Beautiful shot, that one. And he's just about through the gap on the red to the right of the black, which is a big one to land on. Oh, goodness me.
6.
What a terrible miss. That really was a bad miss. There's nothing difficult remotely about that shot. So he'll be annoyed, Michael White, because he was just looking a bit better. And then he missed a black, really, that I don't think you'll see another one of those missed all week on this table. Doing very little with the cue ball. Nicely played, whipping the cue ball around the angles. It was always going to be pretty safe had the red not gone in. Now the problem he wants to play the black, but he's looking at the black spot which is occupied by the red. So whether he could pot the black and move that red that's currently on the black spot, that might be the way he goes here. Try and shift it out of there. That's what he's tried, and he's done it. Great shot. No applause, but trust me, that is absolutely perfect.
8.
Cleared everything to the right and left corner pockets for the black.
9.
Sometimes I think with O'Sullivan's break building, there were very subtle shots played early on that you could almost not notice them, and you realise that everything is now in open play from a position where when he came to the table it wouldn't have been. No, he didn't want that. He did not want
17.
that. Now, can he get to the green? Don't think he can, not to pot it. This is an awkward blue now. It's not one of his old favourite recovery shots with the rest. It's not an easy shot, this. Played it well, off the jaw again, but in it went.
22. RonnieO'Sullivan.
It's been a curious performance from Ronnie O'Sullivan today. Moments of brilliance, a couple of centuries, but a few errors as well, keeping Michael White in contention. So White back at the table, only 13 behind, having missed that elementary black earlier in this frame. One of many potting errors from the Welshman today, and yet, who knows, at the end of this visit, he might be level at 3-all, which would be extraordinary, really, given his struggles today.
Well, I was as surprised by O'Sullivan's miss just a minute ago as I was the Michael White black you spoke about. Both were easy. Ronnie, I thought, was just getting going there. He missed a little stun run through, and he looks pretty annoyed with himself sitting in his chair, O'Sullivan. I think it's those cueing shots, when you miss those, you start to look at your cue action, now you're hitting them. Meanwhile, Michael White can't get a cannon right at all at the moment. It's another very poor shot. I don't think the cannon was up very easily to play. Not to get nicely on the black. He's done well to recover that. That was a much better shot than it looked, but it's made up for the previous one.
$17. 24.
Yeah, never touched the sides, that one. And had it done so, it probably would have gone in anyway. So, 18 points the lead, and a chance with the reds in the middle of the table to put this frame so much beyond doubt, but very much in his favour.
32.
Michael White has never had any joy against Ronnie O'Sullivan, and I don't think he would have believed, given the way he's played today so far, that he'd still be in contention in this match, but he is, very much so. 27 in front, 34 with the black. Great chance to make this a best of three. He's played that well.
47. 48.
So he needs one more red. And he is such a talent, White, that if he could just
55.
raise his level a little, he could certainly go on and win this match. O'Sullivan fans looking a little concerned now. At 3-1, with his second century in a row, it was looking like it could be another procession for O'Sullivan over Michael White, but it's proved not to be the case.
64.
One or two errors from O'Sullivan, just hampering his ability to pull away in this match.
Yeah, and I think all of those things have actually given Michael White a bit of hope. Yes, he's still not playing at his best, but he's certainly playing better.
Well, he's taken these really well. This has been his best snooker of the match so far.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens from here. Can O'Sullivan raise his game? He looks a little bit deflated in his chair, doesn't he? He knows he probably should have either won this match by now or be on the brink of it, but he's not anywhere near that. He's got to go again at 3-all.
78.
And he's on the back of missing a pretty bad red to the left corner pocket. I mean, he's only human. He'll be thinking about that and why he missed it in the way he did. Can Michael White get his first ever victory over Ronnie O'Sullivan? So you want to stick around and see how this unfolds from here.
89.
Not enough there for a century, but 96 will do. Easily the best snooker that Michael White has produced in the match, and a very timely intervention as he levels this at 3 frames all. Anyone's match now, the first of 5 to play Liu Hao Shan in round 3 here at the World Open on day 2. Judd Trump has just moved 4-1 in front of Sanderson Lam on table 2, a match you can watch, of course, on Discovery Plus. Another very tight frame where Sanderson Lam was looking good to close to 3-2, and Trump has stepped in to deny him. Trump having won the second frame of that match on the final black, an excellent thin cut from long range. Neil Robertson 2-1 up on Tian Peng Fei. Jordan Brown 3-1 up on Chris Wakelin. Chow Yu-Peng is going well against Noppon Sankam, 4-1 up. Matthew Stevens and Ryan Day tied at 2 frames apiece. And the other match in this session, in which, of course, 8 tables are in use, He Guozhang leading Wang Jingbo, the Chinese wildcard, the teenager, by 2 frames to 1.
Fairly basic run into the bunch there. Very interesting at 3-all whether O'Sullivan is going to find the extra gear that he might need, you know, over his long playing career. And in fact, all the great players, you know, when tested in a situation like this, will find their better form. Is today going to be another one of those days? It's a little lacklustre. Yes, he made a couple of centuries, but it's not really a reflection of how he has looked in these half a dozen frames, quite honestly. Mistakes have been made by O'Sullivan, of course, and Michael White. But the latter just gaining in some confidence, I think.
He's actually knocked in a couple of good reds, not dissimilar to that, on the other side of the table from distance. That one was caught way too thick, though, by Michael White. And he has left this red for O'Sullivan. Looking just to re-establish himself, having lost the last 2 frames. 1 or 2 errors that clearly have irked him. And he knows that White's a dangerous opponent. Yes, he's always held sway over him in the past, but he knows what White's capable of, so there's certainly jeopardy now for O'Sullivan in this match that didn't seem likely at the midway point. The gulf between this pair in terms of success this season is vast. Michael White has earned just 35,000 on the table in this campaign to date. O'Sullivan in excess of 1.1 million.
12.
But that isn't reflected in the scoreboard at the moment.
Yes, I mean, there's only been a few players earning the real big money this season. Of course, O'Sullivan is one, and Judd Trump another. Zhang Anda, Mark Allen, they're the big winners. Almost to the exclusion of everyone else. Gary Wilson, of course, has won the Scottish again. But generally speaking, it's been all about a few players that have done so well.
$21.
Will he go into the bunch here? He could play up the table if he wanted to, but the chance to go into them is there. Yeah, I mean, he really gets some extra zip on that cue ball when he plays that shot. Invariably, he'll land on one, and he has.
28. $29.
Gary Wilson not here this week because he didn't qualify, but he has won
36.
a couple of ranking events this season. So, as I say, it's been a few players which have lifted all the trophies. That's why there's such a disparity between the players at the top and the ones a little further down. O'Sullivan's not quite in that form today that's won him all this money and all these events. But if he gets through, of course, he can build on it. Not sure if both reds go. He's having a close look at the left-hand red, but the other one he's on anyway.
45. $51. 52. 56.
Yes, the cannon didn't quite work. He lost the cue ball. I think he thought he hit more of the second red there. Lovely recovery shot though. Beautiful touch there. Very easy to see that cue ball drift into the bulk area.
64.
Unless you get the right amount of backspin on. Delicate shot on the black. So I asked the question, not that it needed asking really with this man, but could he raise his game? And he has done, because he's won this frame. And all of a sudden, it looks a little bit more
72.
like he's back to business. The way that he's won it, he was freewheeling through the early frames. But he isn't now.
Very much so. He feels really dialed in. I think conscious of the fact that suddenly this match had become potentially uncomfortable for him for a position of strength. But he really has been
18.
very focused in this break. One or two errors have proved costly out of the blue, really, for O'Sullivan today, but he's been sharp as a tack at this visit. Back in front and within one of victory.
Yeah, it might not be a century though, unless he can produce a bit of magic here. I'm not sure where the next red's coming from, quite honestly. Shame that. Cannon was not easy to ensure he'd be on something. Maybe he's going to try and pop the red close to the pocket for two cushions. Not to be.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 87.
No third century, but that was arguably the best break that O'Sullivan has made in this match so far. Not numerically, obviously, but given its timing and how focused he was throughout it, to move back in front at 4-3. Against Ronnie O'Sullivan, who's just knocked in another excellent break of 80 plus. Very important break as well, because O'Sullivan was beginning to show signs of frustration, having lost his 3-1 lead, but very much dialed in just now in retaking the lead and putting himself within one of the third round meeting with Liu Hao Shan. And straight in at the start of the frame he needs for victory.
1.
Neither player will be thrilled with their break-offs today. Both have capitalised with long-range reds throughout this match.
Do you know, I think it's becoming more of a hindrance, the break-off now. Obviously, invariably, most players have decided to break off given the chance in a match of any duration, because it's meant to be an advantage, but I'm not certain it is. I think it's a combination of the ball spreading more easily off the break, and of course the standard of long potting has gone up. Might be an idea to put your opponent in where possible. Anyway, nothing much came of it.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 3.
Well, this is a bit of a tester for White with the rest, given what's happened already today. But that's a really good pot in the circumstances. He knows now, of course, one more mistake and it could be his last shot of the tournament. So he too has to be lasered in on every shot from here on in. And that's another good one. He missed a pink by about a foot early in this match at a time when he looked very jittery.
7.
Played a lot better, of course, in the 6th frame with that break of 96 to level up.
Yeah, he still missed a few as the match has gone on, but fewer balls have been missed, if that's anything to take encouragement from. He's looking at a possibility of getting on the black here from low. Because any further up, I don't know if he could have got to the black with the red being there, but yeah, this is the time for Michael to step up as well with his game. Take us to a decider.
Nicely played. So a good start in this 8th frame.
$15. 16. 23. 24.
Now, if he can hit the right-hand red, stun it, then he could get all the rest of them open here. Oh, he's played it really well. That's a great shot. And that's absolutely how to play that shot. Hard stun into the
31.
end red. Cue ball stays centre table, reds go everywhere.
He suddenly looks a completely different player, doesn't he? What a shot that was.
Cue ball's just strayed a bit there, though, isn't it? Shouldn't be on playing this with his hand on the cushion rail, but you're right, the red was absolutely beautiful to watch. Just got to salvage this, just off straight. Shouldn't be here.
And a big cheer from the neighbouring table. Yeah, I just wonder whether all of those things combined
Michael
slightly
White,
threw
32.
Michael White off his stride there. A shame for him because he played such a great cannon, but only 29 in front.
One.
That's a good shot from O'Sullivan. Yeah, it might have not helped on the other table. There was something happening on the black ball at the end of a frame, which surprising miss perhaps. But to be honest, Michael White, he should never have been there on the black. I mean, he played such a good shot and the black was just off straight. Horrible. And he overhit it.
Ironically, at a time when he was playing his best snooker and looking as confident as he's done at any stage in the match, but now, of course, at the point of no return, he's wondering if he's going to get another chance. A couple of awkward reds for O'Sullivan,
18.
mainly the one up the table, just below the yellow on the side cushion.
Yes, he's gone for it there, hasn't he? Playing on the black to get that out into play, onto its spot. That could be a match winner. It's kind of a good shot just to get the black where it wants to be, basically, and where he wants it to be, although the reds are spread around. It's not easy to get the match won at this visit, but it helps with the black on its spot. There's been a few of those mid-range shots, and he's absolutely fuming.
Crikey, could have taken the lump out of his cue there. But yes, indicative of the fact that O'Sullivan has been a bit in and out in this match, at times great, but just the odd mistake has allowed Michael White to stay in contention. He's played a lot better in the last 45 minutes or so since the interval. So this frame's still in the balance with a couple of awkward reds to be negotiated.
8.
Sanderson Lamb, by the way, has finally won a tight frame in the match against Judd Trump, having lost a couple to keep his hopes alive. It's now 4-2. Won that 6th frame on the final black. Neil mentioned the noise that was coming from that table after he initially missed the black, but he potted it when he got another opportunity. So that match still going. Is this one heading for a decider? 19 the lead for White, still 51 on. Things about to get a bit trickier, though.
Yes, because he needs all 3 reds. 2 red blacks even from here, which would be difficult. Will take him only 35 in front. So I don't know that he'll win the frame here. It'll take some doing. But O'Sullivan was very annoyed. He's kind of been able to almost second guess the shots he'll miss today. It's those mid-range shots. He's missed a few of them, O'Sullivan, and all the touch shots, and even some of the long pots have gone in. It's the in-between shots he struggled with. And there's evidence that the tension is perhaps getting to both players.
Ronnie O'Sullivan just looking at the shaft of his cue, having wrapped it on the table just now, having missed, but back at the table, 20 behind, 43 now left.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't try it at home, basically. I mean, it's great to emulate top players, but unless you want to have to buy yourself a new cue anytime soon, it wouldn't be a great idea to crunch it against the cushion rail too many times.
It'd be a very bad moment of the season for O'Sullivan to have to change his cue, that's for sure. Oh dear, looking to get in behind the black, but going in off, that's not going to improve his mood.
Might be a good idea for Michael White to get the left-hand red out here, because he's going to need it, whatever happens. He could play a meaningful safety shot. Here's the shot again. He tried to make it a fiendish snooker. I think he could have played a safety shot on the left-hand red. Yes, it's gone safe, and you think, well, I don't need it as much as my opponent, but he will need it. If he could have got O'Sullivan in trouble there and got the red out, it could have been a frame winner. Oh, it's going to be snookered here, surely. It could be a vile snooker to hit this one.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
O'Sullivan could easily have gone in off that black, but in the event, very unpleasant state of affairs for Michael White. 23 in front, but in all kinds of bother here.
Well, he is, because he might have to go directly off this one cushion. And it's so hard hitting straight into a cushion. It's hard to get any kind of perspective for the shot. He's going 2, in fact. 2 cushions with left-hand side, trying to miss the brown on the way down. It's a good effort, but it's a free ball.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4. Free ball.
And Ronnie won't be having this put back, I don't think. It doesn't often do that anyway. Playing the yellow, so that gets the yellow on its spot. If he gets it, of course.
Something of a surprise that didn't drop, given that, by and large, as we've been saying throughout the 2 days of action here, the pockets have been pretty receptive, but stayed above ground, so White breathes again.
Yeah, but it's kind of put him under pressure, White, in its own way, isn't it? Because nothing's safe now. And should he leave O'Sullivan a red, or this red, it's hard to think he wouldn't clear, because they're all over the pockets, basically, on their spots. But he hasn't left him it. Played a good shot there. Michael White might have a little dart at this, and it'll take him probably to winning the frame if he gets it. Yeah, you feel it's a red ball frame, and certainly you'd say so on the basis of what we're seeing. Everything else is on a plate after that. I wonder if O'Sullivan might think about trying to cut this in. He can't see enough of the red to play a meaningful safety shot anyway. did play it. The black wasn't easy enough to that right corner. Yeah, it's quite a tense situation here. A lot riding on the whoever pots this red and the outcome of it. Oh dear. That wasn't the shot, what he was looking for. What a golden chance to get the match won here. It really is. He didn't play the pink there because he doesn't really need the pink on its spot because the black's over the hole anyway. So now it's just a few more shots and O'Sullivan won't be pleased with his performance if he wins, but he'll be through. Ultimately, it's the win is all you really need in these early rounds.
8.
And if he gets this shot right, brown to blue, finishing just off straight, then surely that's it.
It's been a mercurial sort of display, hasn't it? You look at the scoreboard and think, well, it's been very good. 62, 129, 106 and 87, but there have been some mistakes in between. We've seen his frustration, not least when he banged his cue on the table just now, but
17.
this pink, effectively match ball with the black where it is. And Michael White is still going to be searching for his first win over Ronnie O'Sullivan. He started to play a lot better from 3-1 behind. He could have forced a decider. But it's Ronnie O'Sullivan who's cleared to pinch that 8th frame on the final black and move through. At times he looked less than impressed with his level, but he'll be delighted to have come out on top. And for Michael White, frustration about what might have been, particularly in that 8th frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan moving through to round 3 by 5 frames to 3.